Hi and welcome to this post-social podcast. In today's podcast, I speak to João Almeida, head futsal coach at Loughborough University and the International Futsal Academy. We discuss his coaching roles he has had over the years and how it has helped him in developing academy players. Before we start, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and check the description for our Twitter, Facebook and LinkedIn pages. Thank you very much, João, for being here today. How are you?
My pleasure. Thank you. And you? How are you? All good?
Not bad at all. Thank you.
Good.
So before we start, do you want to give a brief description of yourself, what you do, obviously what you do in futsal as well?
Well, I'm Portuguese. I'm 35 years old. I have a degree and a master's degree in sports science. My master is with futsal specialization. I started to be a futsal coach with 17 years old. After being a football player, I have a problem in my knee, so I had to stop playing with 17 years old. My local club had football and futsal, so they invited me to start coaching one of the futsal teams under 13 at the time. I started, and since then never stopped. I was the youngest ever coach on the Portuguese top league, and then I had my first experience abroad as a coach with Bali national team. I was there for 3 years, and now I'm here in Loughborough University as coach, and we are working every day to try to improve the game and to step it up.
Right, yeah. 17 years old as a coach, that's very young. I've just started trying to get coaching experience, and quite an achievement to be managing at a top level at 17. So you say what age did you pick up futsal?
So with 17 years old, I started directly to coach a futsal team. And then with 26 years old, it was when I coached the academic in the Portuguese top league. 1 year after having my first experience with the senior age group, but during this period, everything was, to be honest, everything was very smooth, and the transition, all the development, all the growing interest in the game, everything was very easy because the game is so. I'm a very intense person, so the game is so intense that we were. It was a perfect match, and then everything worked perfectly. And from under 13s, I started to coach under 17s. We were runner-ups in the league for the first time, national league. It was good. I opened my own futsal academy with 19 years old. And then I was Portuguese under 20 national champion. And from there, I started to have some invites to different programs and projects. And that's how I decided to finish my degree before going abroad. And that's why only later I went to Bahrain. But yeah, it was more or less like this.
Right, yeah. So you mentioned a knee injury you picked up, and also a lot of opportunities that came with coaching. Is there any other inspirations you had for coaching? Was it something from a young age you set out to be?
To be honest, I was a football player. First of all, I wasn't a great football player. I loved the game and I played for fun. Every day during my young age, every day I arrived from school and I went outside to play with my friends in the street. And that's where maybe if we think about it, that's where futsal comes in, because in reality, I'm not playing football outside. We are 3 against 3 or 4 against 4 or 5 against 5. The goals are rocks on the floor, small size. So I was playing futsal with my friends without even noticing. And I think that's where futsal started to pick up. But I never thought, let's be a coach or something like that. I always knew I wanted to do something related to sports. That's why I decided to take a degree in futsal, in sports science. During I always did a lot of different sports, football, swimming, but I never thought I will be a coach or something like that. It was something I always liked to. I always was curious about leadership, about finding ways to be better than the others in a strategical point of view, and finding that on a game like futsal is interesting. So that's how it was very quick to stay interested by it, and that's why I stayed with it until now. I don't know if that answers your question, but
yeah, it answers it fine. Yeah. So more into your coaching, really. So when you have a session, whether that be training or just so yeah, anyways, with your coaching philosophy, whether that be before a game, during training sessions in the week, how would you say you're quite direct towards your players? Do you want them to hit like certain goals, or
yeah, well, first of all, I think my way of being, my leadership style, it comes a lot from my first experience as a coach. So as I said, I started to coach with 17 years old, and the players I coached, they were 13, 14 years old. So we are talking about 3 years gap between me and them. And those players, they stayed with me for almost 5 years. Today, all of them are my close friends, and our age are very close to each other. So there is always, and I understood from that moment that being honest and being making them feel that they are part of my thoughts and all the plans around the team and everything that goes around the team, they are the main part of it. And so I thought since the beginning that they must be included in everything.
yeah, just so from it would be good.
Yeah, so the difference between our ages were so short that the way of talking, the interests were the same. Everything was very easy, but also teach me that the players must be included in everything, and they must be part of the decision making on where do we want to go, how do we want to go, how do we go, how to work. If there are a problem, we need to sort it together. If there is something to be said, we must say, because it's everything. Everyone is with the same and common interest. So yeah, that experience taught me and gave a lot to what I am now as a leader. I try to have the closest relationship in a way that's open. There is open channel to talk with honesty always, and as long as something that is healthy to what we want. So yeah, it's that experience somehow told me how to be the leader that I am now.
Right. Yeah. So
as models and role models, I have since young. My father was a coach. He was a good football player, so he was a coach. I took much things from him, as the way of being passionate and the intensity of pushing for the players and requesting, demanding from players. And then I had some coaches that I was following. Some of them my friends, other ones just following, reading and doing some research about them. And yeah, it's I took a little bit from different coaches and different styles, different ways of dealing with communication, with planification, with motivation. So yeah.
Right, yeah, I can definitely see how coaches definitely look towards people who have coached them in order to add it to their philosophy. On the top of coaching, you're now at Loughborough University working with their futsal team. When did you first start there?
So I was with our national team, and I went to Loughborough University in August 2017. It was when we came here. At the time, the program, the futsal was part of the university, but as a different entity, coordinated by the IFA, International Futsal Academy. Right now, the Sports Development Center in the university took over, and we are now part of the Sports Development Center. What is a sign that futsal is growing within the university and also within the culture of what is performance sports. We are working to make the game bigger. We have 4 BUCS teams that plays in the British University and College Sports, men. We have then 3 women's BUCS teams, and then we have one women's team in the National Futsal Series and 2 men's teams in the National Futsal Series. So we have 6 men's teams and then 4 women's teams.
So quite a large program of teams you've got there. I know at my university we've only got the 2 teams with no women's teams as well. But you said you started 2017, meaning that you were head coach when COVID hit, meaning there was 1 year or 1 season where BUCS didn't happen at all, so no teams were playing.
Yeah.
Did you find it hard to come back after, or did you notice maybe players had a bit rusty, I guess, when it came coming back to futsal?
There is something we always prevented on that. We always made sure that the players were connected. We designed a plan for them, individual plan and collective plan. So we had socials over Zoom. We had individual sessions delivered through Zoom and also in person. We made sure that fitness-wise they were being busy, and as a group we had loads of activities to make sure that everyone was in the same page. So as soon we were allowed to come back to training, even if it was only outdoor at the beginning, we were outdoor playing futsal. So I think the biggest struggle we had was mental health during the period of lockdown, because everyone wanted to play futsal and everyone wanted to do what they like to do. And most of our students, they take the decision to come to Loughborough to play futsal, and not being able to do it was the biggest challenge, and that was the biggest challenge during that period. Coming back, that wasn't the issue at all. There was a lot of will and ambition to come back as soon as possible. So once we were able to come back, they were completely more than ready to work hard and to do what they do well.
Right, very interesting. Yeah. So you've mentioned popularity in futsal is definitely growing. Have you seen maybe in like the recent years? I know I've definitely heard of it a lot more over the last year or so. Do you think there's anything that needs to be done by sport organisations or just clubs in general just to raise awareness of the sport?
I think well, we can look at futsal situation in the world, and we can look at the futsal situation in England. I think there is a common solution that everyone is pushing for, that is futsal being part of Olympic Games, and that obviously will push futsal forward. It was already part of the Youth Olympics in Argentina, and we could see it was one of the sports that was always full with people watching the games. There is interest that futsal should be in the Olympic Games, and if it's Winter Olympics, if it's Summer Olympics, to be honest, it's not important. They just should be part of Olympic Games. So that's one thing that will obviously create awareness and will raise the level of the game. Also, the interest from the federations, the interest from Olympic committees. and that's one of the steps. Then, if we look to England, I think that is an education that we must accept. We should do it instead of demanding that the game should be part of the culture. Instead of that, we should educate people to make it part of the culture. What I'm saying is futsal is very important for young development, intensity, decision making, dealing with pressure, frustration. Futsal teach you all of this. There is no space in futsal to miss an open goal and to look to the sky and cry about it. You must be ready to defend straight away. There is no space in futsal to one of your teammates to do a wrong pass and you complain about it instead of coming back and support your team to recover the ball. So there are a lot of lessons that through futsal we can give to the younger ages, grassroots. So that's the culture. That's the side that we must input to the sports culture in England. Futsal is not football. Futsal can help football players, but futsal won't make every football players a superstar. What futsal can do is futsal can create great futsal players, but mostly futsal can support anyone from any sport to and even from anyone that doesn't have the ambition to become a professional player in any sport, to become a better person, to deal with moments of pressure, to deal with frustration, to think faster, to react faster, and to understand that there will be bumps in the road, and what is most important is to find a solution and to go around it. So we must look at futsal as a powerful tool for the next generations, for young people, and then maybe looking for what Portugal, Spain, and a lot of South American countries do. We must, and even Asian countries, loads of Asian countries, we need to include futsal in our schools programs instead of football, indoor football or whatever it's taught in schools. Futsal must be taught in schools. So there are a lot of different sides that we must approach to raise futsal awareness, people to know what is futsal and why futsal can be good. We can sell futsal as a great sport to develop football players, because you will have, and that's the numbers will always be the final judgment. It's if you have 10 players, maybe only one will be a professional player. If you play futsal, maybe you will also be a professional player. Obviously, what futsal could support him is to be a better decision maker, a player with more intensity, thinking faster. But that's something that will support not only a football player, but anyone in the world, in the life, in everything. So that's why futsal can be important to develop young people. And that's one of I think that's the best weapon that we can have to increase futsal awareness and to develop it.
Very wise words.
That makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with everything you said. There's definitely not enough words being thrown around about futsal when it comes to secondary or primary. I only heard about it because of university when I came up here. So yeah, 100% agree with you.
Looking to England, I think step by step, and now with futsal being live on BT Sports, I think that will improve. And I see the futsal halls, they start to have people watching the games, much more people than usual. So that's being developed. Obviously, the clubs also need to work within their community. They need to call the community to come to support them. They need to call the young people from their community to play in their young teams, men's, women's, everyone. And then that's everything. Everything is connected. If you start to grow that relationship between the clubs, the community, the possibility for the community to watch their clubs playing at home, the possibility from the community to watch their clubs playing on BT Sports or on YouTube or whatever, and then what the motivation from the kids to play futsal, to find a futsal club, to play futsal in schools. Then you need to develop the PE teacher's awareness and capacity to teach futsal. It's everything linked and connected.
Yeah, definitely. Leave you on this last question. Just out of your whole career in futsal, could you pick one moment that you'd say is your personal highlight? It could be anything: coaching, watching, playing.
To be honest, I was very lucky during all my experience in futsal until now, because I always had amazing experience. I started with one family. My first team, the players were a real family. It was incredible. Their social background wasn't the best, so they were really connected. They were like the family of each other, and I was lucky to be part of that. I was with them for 5 years, and we managed to. I opened my futsal academy with a friend, and those players, they came with me from that club to that futsal academy. And I didn't open the futsal academy to steal the players from that club. I opened the futsal academy because the club finished, and I thought I can't leave them alone. I can't leave them by themselves. So I created the futsal academy with them, for them, and then we opened to all the age groups. But I think that beginning taught me so much and made me live so many incredible stories. And we were regional champions. We were the runner-ups in the national league always with the same group. I think that was the situation, that not only because of the success, but also because of everything that taught me. I'm lucky for being from a social background with conditions to give me everything I wanted and to provide me everything I wanted. I also don't ask many things, but I was very lucky with that, and being aware and living and sharing experience with kids that were not able to have that, and understanding that some of the reactions and some of the things, attitudes and things they did, answers, reactions, everything they had was related to what was missing as a support for their lives. Made me understand a lot of things that I wasn't able to. So I think that experience was vital for my life and to become a better person. But as I said, after that I had one other incredible group where we were national champions in Portugal. After that, I have one other amazing group, and then I had Bahrain. That was, all the players were incredible and loads of friends there. It was a big family, and now here the same. So I'm being very lucky. I can't say this was the highlight, but obviously the start means so much and teaches me so much that I think it will be always with me. And as I said, we are huge friends now. We are always talking, the players and me, and those players and me. So yeah, that I think it's the most impactful experience that I had until now.
Well, very inspirational. That seems that futsal's close to your heart, just as all the people that you have played with or been around the sport. So thank you very much for taking time out of your day to talk.
My pleasure.
Here.
Anything you need, let me know.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.